Good morning. It's been a roller coaster ride in the race for president, with the process playing out over these last few days, turning election night into election week. And with a lot still to be determined, perhaps in the way of recounts and legal battles, we do have a projected winner. Former Vice President Joe Biden flipped a number of states Democrats lost in 2016 in a race that turned out much closer than pollsters had expected.
The people of this nation have spoken. They've delivered us a clear victory, a convincing victory.
There's been a lot of shenanigans, and we can't stand for that in our country.
All right, we'll have much more later this morning on Fox News Sunday and Face the Nation. But today we're also taking a closer look at the election results here in Indiana, starting with the race for governor. And it was a big night for Governor Eric Holcomb, winning re-election over Democratic candidate Woody Myers and Libertarian Donald Rainwater, who did earn about 11% in that race. Governor Holcomb says he'll keep his focus on the economy and fighting the ongoing pandemic.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's get busy building one Indiana for all.
Governor Holcomb speaking on election night moments after Woody Myers conceded.
I just spoke with Governor Eric Holcomb and congratulated him on his victory. I ran because I knew we could be better and that we could do more for those who have so little and more for those who need so much.
All right, let's also look at the race for Attorney General. Former Republican Congressman Todd Rokita defeating Democrat Jonathan Weinzapfel. Rokita watched the election results from home after testing positive for the coronavirus. His campaign says he's doing well. He'll replace current Attorney General Curtis Hill next year. One of the hottest races in Indiana this year, the state's 5th congressional district, State Senator Victoria Spartz, now Congresswoman-elect Spartz. She ended up less than 20,000 votes ahead of Democratic candidate Christina Hale in that race. And Spartz says she's honored to earn the trust of her constituents. She says she'll use her state-level experience to get to work in Congress.
I'll work on policy and try to reach out to some legislators on the other side and see if we can agree on them. And, we maybe disagree on the broader issues, but we can go and agree on some narrow issues. And I think if we can get something done and move the needle and move our country forward, that will be great. So we just have to get to know people.
Spartz will replace current Representative Susan Brooks, who's retiring at the end of the year. As for Hale, she said, quote, "This was a historically close race and our message clearly resonated with voters. I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to talk about issues that matter most to our community and lift the voices of so many people in our district." We spoke about the race with Importantville's Adam Wren.
If you look at her win, it really seems to come down to Republican performance on the economy. A lot of voters I've talked with who voted for her said, they were more concerned at the end of the day about the economy than the pandemic. One of the key differences, I think, too, is she spent much more time on the ground, going door to door in the district than Christina Hale did. Indiana, at the end of the day, has a really strong brand as a Republican state. The Republican Party has done a much better job than the Democratic Party here, connecting with voters. This is a deeply red state, and it will be years before Democrats are able to gain any sort of a foothold here.
All right, we're also going to be talking here with Dr. Laura Wilson. There's more with Adam on our podcast where we talk more about the map, county by county here. Let's look at this. In Hamilton County, Donald Trump, the winner, he edged out Joe Biden 52-45 in Hamilton County. Spartz actually outpacing him there in Hamilton County. She beat Hale there 55-41. So let's talk with Dr. Laura Wilson. Laura, this election may have been a repudiation of the president in some places of the country, but certainly not everywhere. Republicans picking up House seats, and this is one of those districts here where Democrats just fell short.
It did. And as Adam had said, 4% is a really strong turnout. It's as much of a victory as a loss could probably be. And Hale was a very strong candidate. But I think in this case, you look at this district, you had two ticket leaders, if you will, for the Republican Party, with Eric Holcomb and with Donald Trump. Very different Republicans for a lot of different ways, but voters certainly come out for them. And if you liked one, you may not like the other, but that could influence your straight ticket voting. And I think that's partly what you saw here in the 5th. Still fairly close, but nonetheless, Spartz took away with that win.
And Laura, nationally, obviously a lot has been made about the integrity of the election. The president's comments alleging fraud, basically with no real evidence suggesting that's the case. What impact does this have on the democratic process?
Well, people should always question and challenge. I think that's a little bit different than creating fear, however. All the states have a lot of jurisdiction in terms of the procedures and process. And so I hope what this does is get people questioning why their state does it the way they do, why they have polling open hours at certain times, when they count ballots, or whether or not they have mail-in ballots. And they question the process itself. But at the end of the day, those are the rules and the procedures we set forth at the beginning. Right? We can't challenge the outcome that comes from them, at least in this cycle. We could look at changing those in the future. I think it's important for people to have confidence in the system and the process, even if they don't like the outcome, because that is what led us to that point. And systems and institutions last before and after any administration, candidate, policy, or party.
We'll see what happens on that front. Laura, thanks so much. More with Laura in just a minute. Meantime, on that same topic, Senator Mike Braun this week said, quote, President Trump is right to hold states and local officials accountable to their own laws and make sure all legal ballots are counted. Fraudulent votes disenfranchise legal voters. We should all want a result that's fair and can be trusted by the American people. We also heard this week from Senator Todd Young, who spoke with our Kayla Sullivan.
The president has been making some calls via social media, to stop vote count, maybe possibly disputing any results of this election. What are your thoughts on some of those comments?
Every eligible voter who casts a legal vote and there are no anomalies on the ballot needs to make sure their vote is counted. I mean, I can't say that enough different ways. So I will continue to say that from the rooftops, and all of my colleagues are saying the same things. So this is the essence of our democracy. Now, with that said, the Republican National Committee has deployed a team full of attorneys into Michigan because they did see some anomalies that needed to be checked into. And then Democrats have their own attorneys on the ground in these different states.
All right, now Thursday, after the president's remarks from the White House, Young said, quote, I trust in the process. I urge patience. As all legally cast votes are tallied, every legally cast vote will be counted, the rule of law upheld, and we will accept the final result. This week, we also spoke with Congressman Greg Pence and Andre Carson.
Now he wants to insult the voters and their intelligence. So he's just being inconsistent and theatrical. And I think it's unfortunate and a testament as to why he has lost, because the American people are sick of the gaslighting, they're sick of the pageantry, Republicans and Democrats, and we want to move our country forward.
Are you surprised the race was this close? You lost some seats in Congress, but what does it say for Democrats that there was no real blue wave in the end?
I think it says that a lot of work has to be done to talk to voters, to speak to nuance. While some are in agreement with certain proposals presented by Trump, particularly his tax plan, others are critical of his social message. And so Democrats, I think, have to dig more deeper into the spectrum that exists in our caucus, from the far left to those who are moderate, and do it in a way that doesn't disrupt our unity. I think that there's something to be said about having healthy disagreements occasionally. But I think going forward, we have to really maximize our leverage and speak to those issues that voters are concerned about.
There's a presidential election right now that's very close. How are you feeling about this, and have you talked to your brother, the vice president?
I did. Michael called me and congratulated me last night, which was very kind. He's upbeat, he's positive, and we'll see. I think, unfortunately, we're going to have to wait days, maybe weeks, and I hope not months. In Indiana, we do the right thing. Somebody told us we were having a presidential election. We prepared for it, and we got it done last night.
All right, Pence and Carson both reelected to Congress Tuesday as Indiana's congressional split stays where it was, 7 Republicans, 2 Democrats. Here's a look at more of those results as we go to break. We'll talk with our panel right after this.